15 Famous Deformities of Celebs Finally Explained. Part 1.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
1. Marty Feldman, bulbous eyes. You may have thought it was prosthetics, or maybe you never thought about it at all. But Marty Feldman, the comedian who played Igor in Young Frankenstein, actually had something wrong with his eyes. They were bulbous and crooked, but what caused it? Though Feldman suffered from Graves' disease, which does make one's eyes bulge, it was actually a failed surgery to treat his Graves' disease that caused Feldman's eye condition to worsen. Feldman would die in 1982 from a heart attack, potentially attributed to the 5 packs of cigarettes he would smoke in a day. Despite his different looks, it's been said that Feldman was considered quite attractive. Though there were some exceptions, like the Young Frankenstein role, Feldman didn't often use his eyes to advance his career. It's probable that it kept him noticeable and memorable, but he relied on his comic talents to land jobs, not his looks. 2. Michael Berryman, Skin Disorder. You would know him from many different horror films throughout the years, but Michael Berryman is most well known for his performances in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975, and The Hills Have Eyes in 1977. He isn't just unusual looking, because his parents made a person who is unique. He suffers from hypohidrotic ectodermal dysplasia, which is a rare condition that left him with no sweat glands, hair, fingernails, or teeth. We may associate Berryman with a lot of horror films, because they do dominate his resume, but he's done some quality work, and should never be considered a novelty actor. 3. DJ Qualls, Attenuated Body. Is being skinny a deformity? No, but DJ Qualls, the slender actor from Road Trip, and The New Guy makes the list, because people just think he's naturally skinny. He's not. When Qualls was 14 years old, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. He went into treatment for 2 years, including chemotherapy, which put the cancer into remission, but there was a cost. Because he had chemotherapy at such an integral stage for his bodily growth, his metabolism was sped up and the rest of his development essentially stopped. This led him to have a very slender frame. It also probably helped him to become an actor and a model, because of his incredibly unique look. 4. Sylvester Stallone, partial mouth paralysis. You noticed it, but you didn't think much of it. Sylvester Stallone has something wrong with his mouth, and he slurs his words a bit. He wasn't just trying to be edgy either. Turns out that when Stallone was born, the doctors used forceps incorrectly to pull him out. This caused some paralysis in the lower left side of his face, including parts of his lips, tongue and chin, also hampering his speech slightly. Similarly, actor Milo Ventimiglia, Gilmore Girls and Heroes, has dead nerves in the left side of his mouth, effectively rendering it immobile. This is also why these two did Rocky Balboa together. It is weird though. In that film, Ventimiglia plays Rocky's son, implying that the whole mouth thing was passed on. But why would Rocky's son have better odds of having the nerves around his mouth damaged by forceps? Does Stallone not know what happened to him during birth? 5. Matthew McGrory, Gigantism. You probably know Matthew McGrory best as the actor who played Tiny in The Devil's Rejects, or the giant from Big Fish. It's unclear what form of gigantism McCrory had, because he was never properly diagnosed before his death at age 32 in 2005. What is clear is that McCrory was a giant. The guy was 7 feet 6 inches, and had size 29.5 shoes. The potential conditions could be many: neurofibromatosis, Proteus syndrome or elephantiasis. We just don't know. McGrory shared features with several other undiagnosed giants, including Siacon, big ears, protruding forehead, kyphoscoliosis, retronacia, slim limbs, knee ankylosis and more. Basically we don't know anything. We've provided you with a list of options, so now it's up to you to categorize him. 6. Elizabeth Taylor, double set of eyelashes. If you ever thought that Elizabeth Taylor had eyelashes for days, you were onto something. You see, Taylor had a genetic mutation that gave her an additional row of eyelashes. That means that her big blue eyes were accented by not one, but 2 rows of thick black eyelashes, twice more than we have. You see how this works? Maybe you noticed it, but never thought too much about it. My oh my, her lashes look thick and full, or however you said it. Who would ever think that there was a mutation behind it all? You thought it was makeup, or the magic of the movies, but really she was just a mutant. 7. Bill Nighy, permanently bent fingers. Bill Nighy has had a wonderfully long and successful career, but many have never noticed that he has an issue with his hands. Well, they noticed it, but many believe that it is something that he does on purpose. Nighy has Dupuytren's contracture Viking's disease, a condition which causes the fingers, usually the pinky and ring finger, to contract towards the palm. There is a surgery that can hold off these effects, but when Nighy first got the contractures in his 20s, he never got the procedure. Now his fingers have permanently bent in towards the palms of his hands, and have become a part of who he is both in real life and on film. You might think he's doing some sort of rock and roll thing, but it's the damn Dupuytrens. Nighy says that it doesn't hurt. He just gives a freaky handshake. 8. Tina Fey, scarred face. Many stars have scars and they range from wear to wow. Tina Fey's falls about halfway between those, but the story behind her scar is pretty crazy. It's also Tina Fey, so we have to include her physical oddities, even if they're not that intense looking. Sometimes the scar can be hard to see, because Fey tries to limit how often that side of her face is on screen. Whenever possible, Fey will show her good side. When she was only 5 years old, Fey was playing outside of her home in Pennsylvania, when a random creep approached her and cut her face. Let's give you a recap in case you missed it. Some creep walked up to a 5-year-old little girl and cut her freaking face with a knife. WTF mate.